Just leave women alone.
And that's exactly what men did a long time ago.
A mom of 7, and I'm 33.
Okay.
With being a mom of 7, do you think that a woman of multiple children is still capable of finding someone?
First, let me ask you before I make the statement. Do the kids have the same father?
Yes, they do.
Well, that's a good start. But still, not every man will invest in taking care of children that aren't his, especially 7. That's a lot.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And then you also have to be able to find a man who is going to be willing to come in and create structure in that household.
That's true. A man will not only provide in that house, he will also raise the kids, protect them, discipline them, and do everything that a father figure needs to do to guide his kids. And that is no easy task.
7 children on one person is a lot to create structure in. Are you going to have the ability to be able to love this man in a way that he needs to be loved, in a way that registers as love to him when you have to love 7 other individuals?
That's true. A man expects to be loved too. But why doesn't he date a single mother sometimes? It's the fear of being always put second.
You're going to need a man who can love those children as his own.
And that task is close to impossible. Their number one priority is their kids and themselves. I was raised by a single mom, and I'll tell you now, I will not be dating a single mom.
Okay, I have a serious question for the guys. Why is it that you try so hard to get a girl, and then once you get that girl, then you start to treat her like garbage? I don't get that. Especially, I'm a single mom. And for all the single mamas out there, shout out to you. You guys are doing amazing.
Correction, men aren't trying anymore.
But it is so hard as a single mom to date because it's not just about me. I have to look into somebody on a whole other level and be like, is this person going to be a good influence on my child? Is this person going to be the father figure that I want him to be? Is this person going to love me and treat me right unconditionally?
These expectations aren't in the right place because you can't expect someone to fulfill this. It's a huge responsibility.
It's not just about me, guys. And I honestly am sick of wasting my time because I'm not just thinking about myself at the end of the day. And as sad as it sounds, before, when I was younger and before I became a parent, I would let people take advantage of me and walk all over me because I didn't love myself.
That's why we gotta tread carefully, because some mistakes have heavy consequences.
I'm gonna tell you, I feel like dating as like a single mom, is not fun. There's like nothing fun about it to me. I'm trying to think of it as fun, but it's not fun. Is anyone else having fun doing that?
That's the problem. Men take it as a serious matter. There is no fun about it.
I don't know. It's I see dating like I'm like actively like dating. I'm really like not, but I don't know, like how do other people do it?
And I would love to be able to give advice and tips on how that's going, but it's not going. Because as a single mom, our standards about triple prior to. I already had high standards, and then now you bring my daughter into the thing, and like no one's good enough, right?
That's why men don't bother anymore, because no matter what efforts they put, it's never enough.
So it happened again. I had a date cancel on me, and we were supposed to go out for dinner tonight as a single mom. So it's a few hours before the dinner, I get a Instagram message that he's not gonna be able to make it, he has to bail.
At least he told her instead of going ghost mode.
This was a guy from my DMs, and he's out of town. He said he was coming into town, wanted to take me out for dinner. I said sure, cleared my schedule, made sure that I used one of my 4 free nights a month.
There is one crucial thing. When men meet someone, they need to know them first. So when it comes to these women, they expect strangers to fulfill their words, and that's not gonna work.
To meet this guy. And the funny thing is that I knew this was gonna happen. I had a feeling a few days ago and told a few friends that this guy was gonna stand me up. What am I doing wrong? What am I not seeing?
Trusting a stranger is a mistake because a real man would invite you face to face.
Single mom, it is so hard to date. Like, I feel like I do not have the energy, the capacity, or the time to go out with these people because I'm almost like, if you're taking time from me and my kids, you need to be worth it.
The same logic goes the other way.
And then I go on the date for 5 minutes and I'm just like, I'm paying a babysitter right now. I had to beg my mother to watch these kids for you. And in the middle of the date, I'm just like pissed off. Like, I'm so irritated that I hired a babysitter or that I had to beg my family.
That's why men avoid these dates, because they know she's preoccupied and her mind is full.
Because firstly, like as a man, if you are going to be the one providing, why you're at a disadvantage providing for someone who isn't your biological son or daughter.
That's a good point. Not a lot of men want that.
Right? And the second thing is not trying to victim blame, but I think as a woman, if you're having children outside of wedlock or outside of committed relationship, it also says something about you.
She has a good point. It gives a bad image sometimes.
You ever hear a guy saying like, oh, you have a child, or, oh, I don't want nothing to do with that. That means, one, they're not going to love your child, and they're just looking at you as a piece of meat, not as their family.
That's not all true. They do not love your kids because they're not theirs.
Number two, they probably don't have the means to take care of your child because they're broke bums, and we don't want those men anyway.
That's not the point. Those kids aren't their responsibility.
But I know a lot of single mothers. Get married, husband dies, now you're a single mother.
Bottom line, single moms and their kids have more to gain from a good stepdad than the man does, and he will never be appreciated for it. After attempting to be a stepdad a couple of times, I can literally say I will never date another woman with children.
I had no idea there was such a disdain for single moms up until this post. And I'm really perplexed by this because single moms are where it's at. We have an unlimited supply of snacks, juice boxes, water bottles, baby wipes, because you never know when you're going to spill. I can whip up the most elaborate meal just to fill your belly. So I don't know what kind of weird trauma that you have against single moms.
It's not trauma. It's a responsibility that men aren't ready for.
There's going to be an expectation if you're in a relationship with a single mother. The single mother is going to expect the guy to provide, not just for you, but for the kid.
That's the reality of it.
And so that adds like sort of a double duty to provide for a child that's not yours. The issue with that, though, is there's all the responsibility, but none of the corresponding authority. So she might expect you to provide, but she might not allow you as the guy to have any authority over the child.
So your role is just to finance, but you are not allowed to teach and raise.
To me, if you're going to be responsible providing for a child and you're going to step in as a stepfather, you aren't given authority over the kid. Like most single moms are not going to like allow you to discipline their kid, but they will expect you to provide for their kid.
And men are not liking that logic.
So it's all the responsibility with none of the authority. And actually, there are some single mothers who have an expectation that the guy start providing instantly. For example, you hear these stories of women wanting men to pay for the babysitter like on the first date.
It's a big red flag for men if they expect him to provide from day one.
So guys, tell me, how do you date when you're a single mom with 2 kids that aren't in school yet and you have nobody to watch them, but you also don't want somebody you don't know that well yet?
In that situation, she better focus on her kids and not date.
How do people date being a queer single mom? Like, I'm struggling. And like, when I go on dates, you know, it never works out. And, you know, having abandonment issues and having a lot of anxiety with dating, I don't know how, I'll admit, I don't know how to relax.
It's a lot of feelings colliding between each other. And when men feel that, they pull away.
And like, I just want to figure out, you know, how I can get better at this because like I struggle with men and women like trying to date.
Men nowadays aren't interested.
Moms, I think, can be, you got to vet them really well. And I would do, if I was a guy and I was dating a single mom, I would do, women do this to men, I would do a couple trial runs early on to see, put her in situations like, hey, honey, I'm sick, whatever. It's not going to kill you. It's going to save you some time.
If she helps you when you're down, she's a keeper. Otherwise, walk away, brother.
Not feeling well, da-da-da, see what she does. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm swamped with the kids. Good luck.
I can be honest and say dating as a single mother is literally one of the loneliest processes in the world. Especially if you're young. I'm 26, but you had my daughter at 22. I think for me personally, a lot of my actions were driven around me not feeling worthy of a relationship beyond something just sexual. A lot of it came from society and social media telling me like, oh, single moms don't deserve true love. No.
Again, social media. And honestly, we shouldn't listen to it because it gives false expectations.
You know what I really want from a relationship as a single mom? I mean, besides someone that has a passion that they're driven by and who takes care of themselves, and then who also loves me fiercely and loves my son fiercely and is always there for us and kind and is not verbally abusive.
Now, these are good expectations.
What I find myself really wanting all the time is someone to take my picture. Someone just to take random candid pictures of me and my son playing or doing something. And there are all these moments that happen and I'm just like, I have like no pictures.
Like most of the things we hear nowadays, these are expectations that will make men come, not expecting providing from day zero. This is the example of a traditional woman.
Of me and my son, candidly, I have to set them all up or take a selfie.
Most men are unwilling to date single mothers. You know, I understand things happen. There's a lot of good women that are turned into single mothers, but it doesn't change the fact that men find single mothers undesirable.
That is mostly the truth, and he will explain why.
That's just a fact. You know, if you were to, as a man, if you were to meet a woman, you know, it could be in the grocery store, the mall, wherever. Could be on one of the apps, one of the dating apps. What happens when you read the bio? You know, you see the picture, she looks good, she looks cute. You read the bio. The name's Stacy, I'm 27 years old. I'm an engineer. I love to travel. I'm very goal-oriented. I'm looking for a man that I can build a future with.
In that paragraph, she didn't mention her having children, and men mostly find out when it's very late.
You know, something like that. Now, nowhere in those details is she going to put mother of 3. Very seldom do they do that.
That's not lying, but it is hiding the truth.
So, you know, you match with her, you start to talk to her, you realize she hasn't mentioned anything about kids, but it's what you're thinking. So, you know, you don't want to be like, just tell me how many kids you have. Let's cut straight to the chase. No.
Because it would sound very rude.
Why don't you tell me a little bit more about yourself? Oh, and she's saying things like, I love coffee, I love road trips, I love crime television shows on Netflix, so on and so forth. So eventually you just have to get straight to the point. You have to say, you got any kids? And that's when she says, oh, yeah, I'm a mother of 2 boys and 1 girl. Something like that.
They will say it casually, but the problem is men wanted to know from the start.
And we all know why she left it off the bio. We all know why she was running from that subject. She didn't want to expose that piece of information because the moment that she does, every single time, 99% of the time at least, the guy she's talking to bolts in the other direction. He's gone.
That's the bitter truth. Well, guys, that was all for today. We'll be back soon.